On today's episode of Homeworthy, we're visiting the Los Angeles home of Drew Michael Scott, the founder of Lone Fox. Drew shares video tutorials on DIY room decor, apartment makeovers, and organization tips. But renovating his 1929 home is his ultimate passion project, and he loves customizing everything in his space. From antique finds to stunning painted details, Drew's home is truly unique. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hey Homeworthy, it's Drew of Lone Fox. Welcome to my house in Los Angeles. Let me give you a tour around. Hi, my name is Drew Michael Scott of the YouTube channel Lone Fox, and this here is my living room, and I am an interior designer out of Los Angeles. I actually purchased a 1929 Spanish Revival duplex that I converted into a single family home. I live here with my roommate and really good friend Marie. We've actually lived together for almost 10 years now, and we will continue living together for probably another 10. My style is always changing. I really love trying out new things all the time, but I would definitely say that my style has a great mix of masculine and feminine. I love like the tension between the two, like super feminine, lacy and frilly, and then really like harsh and iron, and kind of that juxtaposition is something I love in my design. Starting off in my living room, this is actually the reason I purchased this home. And this is kind of the grand living room because there's actually two, since it is a duplex. There's one right underneath. And I love this room because it has a cathedral ceiling that features the original painting on the beams, and I just love that. And I definitely kept that in mind throughout the color use of this entire house, was keeping that beam coloring, the green, the red, and the orange. And in here, this fireplace over here actually had a mantle on it, but it was an added on mantle. So I removed the mantle and brought it back to its original state. I was able to tell that it was actually added on, and so when I did that, we ended up painting the entire room this kind of like, it's called Old White by Farrow and Ball, and it's just kind of like a milky color that resembles old plaster. And in this room kind of is more of the period room to me, like period appropriate room, because it just features a lot of elements from the 1920s. I have these original Monterey chairs, and I love these. These are like my absolute favorite set of chairs in the entire home. I've really been into that kind of like Southwestern style lately, and these just have always fulfilled that love for me. And over here are some built-ins that I actually created. So this wall just used to be a big, huge empty wall, and this actually used to be a large window that the previous owners ended up removing and putting some old doors here. But I should say they weren't old doors, they're actually new doors, and I turned them into old doors. I actually found these, believe it or not, in Pasadena at an architectural salvage store, and they fit the door frame perfectly. So I just knew they were meant for this spot in the house. And around that, I built these built-ins and then reframed the entire built-ins. These are actually IKEA, and repainted them, added electrical, DIY'd the whole situation, which can be seen on my channel, and created this lovely little built-in focal wall, which is great because it's like the first thing you see when you walk into the space. And then moving right around here, I haven't even talked about any of the furniture yet. I have a bunch of really fun vintage pieces. I found this sofa from Pop-Up Home in Los Angeles. It's a vintage Italian 70s sofa, so mixing eras and time periods, but the color just works perfect in here. And this table here actually used to be a kitchen island, and I cut the legs off of it because it was just kind of an odd height. It kind of sat right about here, and I wanted to turn it into a coffee table, so cut it down about 20 inches or like 12 inches or so and turned it into the coffee table. On my first trip to Round Top, I got this new lamp, which is so cool. It's a German lamp. So again, just like mixing so many different pieces throughout the space. But we should definitely touch on this space, which is my office nook. And this is kind of where I have all of my samples. They're all throughout this entire table here. This is a vintage French farm table, and it has these really big drawers on the end so I could put all of my fabric samples and swatches. So we lay them out on here when I'm working on a new project. It's kind of like the design room. I painted this room in olive green color, and I actually created this entire ceiling to resemble the one in the living room. So this was not here before. There was actually just these two beams here in the center, and then I worked off of those and created this like coffered ceiling just to tie it together. And I love this light. It's an old French cloche that has an iron base like re-wrapped around it. And yeah, there's a little balcony out here as well, which is great. And this gallery wall here has a bunch of art that I love. I actually recently wrapped this frame in fabric. This is just like an IKEA frame, and I wrapped it along with the mat. And I'm gonna start doing that with so many of my frames because I think it looks so cool. But these are all just found from the flea market, some oil paintings. This one's a watercolor along with this one. And I just love art. It's all over my entire house. Old art just makes me very happy. So this room just gets a lot of design work done in it, which is great. And then working right out here, we're actually gonna head into the dining room. But look at this piece. This is a Lone Fox favorite on the channel. Like, everyone absolutely loves this apothecary cabinet. It has a really great little edge. I mean, I love it too. That's why I picked it up. And I got it at Olive Atelier, which is one of my favorite places to shop in downtown Los Angeles. And this authentic, beautiful hand-carved stone bust it's honestly not. It's just like ceramic, but it's so cool. I love it. So let's head into the dining room. And we can't forget about this little area because this space I recently redid on my channel, and it used to have a door and was kind of like a little hall closet, but there was a window, and I thought, why not I just open it up? It's actually where I converted the space into a little doggy door for my new puppy Winston. And I added a counter up here, so it's kind of like our little entryway for the upstairs. I love the way that it looks, and I love that there's a window in there. It lets in a little bit more light. And then right around the corner is the dining room. So when I'm designing for myself or clients, I love looking at old design books actually for inspiration, because I feel like a lot of the images that you find in these old books are just not anywhere on the internet. I always flip through old design books. I go to bookstores and flip through them all the time, or I'll rent them or even buy them, because I really find a lot of inspo that way, and there's dedicated books to specific styles and time periods, so you can gain a lot of inspo. So I find a lot of my pieces on Facebook Marketplace, and the best way to build your Facebook Marketplace algorithm is honestly just to go on it like at least once a day and search some things of the style you're looking for. So like I found this, for example, on Facebook Marketplace. It's an iron chandelier. I got it for $100, but I had iron searched for lots of different materials in my house, and it finally showed me. I feel like the Facebook Marketplace algorithm truly is so great, and it just knows what you're looking for and shows you like items all the time. And I also love Facebook Marketplace for shopping because you find things you never know you needed. So you're gonna stumble across the most random stuff on your like For You section, and it's just a great place to shop and find affordable items. So here is the dining room, and this is probably one of the most used rooms for me in the house because I love just like sitting here and working on my computer, or when we have our little mini team meetings, we do them in this space. I lime washed this entire room with a color called Bistro by Portola, and it's just so warm and beautiful, especially when the sun sets. It sets through these windows over here. It looks great, and I have so many Facebook Marketplace finds in this room, believe it or not. We have the chandelier over here, the bookcase against this whole entire wall over here is Marketplace, the mirrors Marketplace, the lamps Marketplace, the busts Marketplace. So you guys, I just love using it because I just stumbled across this one day and I was like, I need that. So I picked it up, and I have just a bunch of favorite serving essentials over here, like these little dishes, candlesticks. I have these decorative plates on the wall. I love decorating with plates. And actually the focal of the entire room is this insane table that weighs over 1,000 pounds. And it had to be taken up here very carefully by some heavy lifting movers, and they were able to get it up here, which is great. So a few of my favorite features in this room, firstly, are the ceiling beams. They actually have the original painting on the beams. And believe it or not, there's these little scrolls painted on them. And when I had an appraiser come through and look at the light fixtures in the home, she let me know that these scrolls actually would have your initials put in them. So whoever painted this never painted their initials in them, or like the house got sold and the initials were never painted. So I'm ready to put LF in there for Lone Fox, of course. I just haven't done it yet, coming soon. And then I also love this popsicle stick lamp right here. Found this on Marketplace. It's such a cool piece. It's called tramp art, actually old art that was just created from like everyday random objects. And I love it. I think it's so cool, and just the use of material. And again, hanging plates on your wall. It's such a fun way to display decorative plates. It's like artwork, but the shapes are really nice because you really don't get that in frames, you know? So this looks really pretty. And yes, I just love the mix of materials throughout this entire space. It just feels really cozy. The sconces as well. Believe it or not, this wall, this used to be a wall right here. There used to be like an entire wall here, and I opened it up into this large archway to reveal our coffee bar, which is right over here and leading on into the kitchen. So here's a coffee bar area, and I have a few fun things to say about this. So the first thing is that this actually used to have cabinet doors on it. I just took them off because there was too many closed cabinets in this kitchen and turned it into this open shelving. And then throughout the entire kitchen, I actually had this Calcutta Monet that I hand-picked, hand-templated, put it all together, like made sure every vein was correct. And I was only gonna put it on this area, but I had quite a few remnants and I had enough to fill these uppers with it. So I also added it to the uppers. We painted this the color Van Buren Brown by Benjamin Moore. And this is a coffee bar. And something else kind of fun too is that this bread is actually foam. So it always looks like I have fresh bread here, but it's actually made of foam. So yes, this is a coffee bar, and I love this area. We make coffees here. It's a highly used section of the home, and that actually leads into the kitchen over here, which is a fun little galley kitchen, but I feel like I made the most of it, so let me share it with you. So this is the kitchen, which is actually the first space I transformed in this home, and you guys gotta pop up a photo of the original kitchen because it looked crazy. They just really stripped it of all of its character. This used to have the original like 1920s tile in it, which I don't know what looks like, sadly. However, the lower kitchen has the original, so it could have looked the same, but I ended up transforming it into a little bit more of a modern, updated kitchen, and I did plaster on the walls, which I literally plastered myself. These are the countertops that I templated because I wanted all the veining to like flow from this side over into this arch over here and transfer down. Like I was really particular. If I was spending money on this marble, I was going to use every inch of it. So I did that, created these shelves in the little like tops of the marble backsplashes, which I love. And then this was such a kind gift that Wayfair sent me when I did a great project with them where we made over a family's home, the entire house in 10 days. It was called 10-Day Transformation. So good. And I love this oven so much. And here's my range hood that people say looks like the front of a Jeep. And I always love to point that out because it actually really does. But I love that because I used to have a Jeep, so it kind of reminds me of it. And it's plastered, but I love it. It's like angled and it wasn't intentional, but it looks great. Through this archway is the breakfast nook, and this is such a cute little space. It actually has a fun table that I kind of put together. I pieced it together. This is actually a tabletop from Morocco. It's a Liege tile, and I put it on top of a pot and then on top of a rock and just like glued them all together and created this table. And then I found these really great Alana Gore chairs on Facebook Marketplace, and they were a great deal, so I had to pick them up. They're like my dream chair for this home. I feel like they're just such a cool style, and these cafe curtains are actually Pottery Barn napkins, so a little life hack if you want to create some cafe curtains. I hung them on this like $6 rod from Lowe's and then hung up some curtains so I can like swap them out if I want to change the color or anything. I mean, just look how good they look. So I added those, and then these are some frames, and they're like an organic wood frame, but they actually have some art prints from when I did my collection with Desenio. There's like 15 different art prints you can get, and they're so cute. I love the dog, and I love the gingham. I use that one all the time. And the light fixture is actually another flea market find. It's like $45, and I added a cord cover from Pearson Ward, one of my favorite stores in Los Angeles. I love their items. And I just feel like it adds like a little cute touch, and I love the style of this. There's a lot of these little medallion motifs throughout the entire home, like on the original doors, so I wanted to continue that through the lighting and wherever I was able to add it. This is a lovely piece of art that I found on Facebook Marketplace, of course, and I just like it in here. It looks so great, and we have to touch on the tile too. I know that's random, but it goes throughout the entire kitchen, but the tile really is like such a cool moment. I hand laid all of it, we grouted all of it, did this little soldier row, and there's like a fun transition in the laundry room area. But I love the way that it looks because it kind of feels outdoor, but it's inside, so that's a fun element. And it's really nice having the breakfast nook right by the dining room because we normally have like lots of stuff splayed out on the tables over here and then have our computers over here so we can like transfer back and forth, and we just have a lot of space up here to work around. So it's nice having both of them. But we are gonna head into the hallway because that's a really cool space, and it has some red lacquered doors, which you need to see. So I feel like hallways are a pretty boring space normally because they're like the transition to every other space in your home, but I decided that I was going to make this space really fun, and I lacquered the doors. Well, I actually just high gloss painted them with Farrow & Ball's Eating Room Red paint, and it looks so great. And then on the walls in here is their paint in the color Cord. And then throughout the space, there's actually a skylight, which I don't know if is original or not. I still can't tell. I feel like it's not original, but I love it because it adds light to this area. And then there's built-ins right around the corner over here. I did some great molding on the floor and just added a bunch of random art throughout this space that I love. This is one of my favorite pieces. I got it with my mom back in our hometown at a little vintage store, and I was like, wow, I feel like this is a good one. So I had to pick that up. And yeah, this is the hallway. We're gonna head on into Marie's bedroom. So here we have Marie's bedroom. So designing this space for Marie compared to designing the space for myself, she honestly is really, really trusting and always open to the design ideas I have. So I always kind of give it like a base, like I do all the furniture and add styling and such to the space, but then of course she personalizes it with her own little touches. Like there's some of her own art on the walls here and here. Now this is a room that actually faces a neon red home. Like the house next to this home is painted bright red, and so it bounces this red light in here, and I took that into account when designing the space, that I wanted it to still look really pretty with the red light because I can't change that. And so I did it this kind of, it's called Warm Suede by Moody, and I plastered it on the walls. We did 3 coats of plastered, sanded it down. It was like the most intensive wall application I've done, but I love the way that it looks like actual stone, and if you get up close to it, you can see like little flecks of like stone particles in it, which is fun. Then from there, I just added a bunch of elements that I thought would look great for Marie's space. I feel like this room has a nice, good mix of like feminine and masculine elements. Like this light is super dainty and like glass, but then we have a dark wood desk over there that I feel like kind of juxtaposes that style a little bit. And a lot of the furniture in here is actually from Lulu in Georgia. I collaborated with them on this space, and I think that all the pieces look so great, and I love their items so much. They're such nice quality. This is my bear brick, and I got this when I was in New York like 2 years ago, but it had Mona Lisa on it. I could not purchase this because it was just the coolest one I had seen, and her name's Mona. She just lives right here, and she's really cool. And yeah, I just love this room. I actually don't spend very much time in here because it's Marie's bedroom, but it is such a beautiful space. And why don't we head into her bathroom, which is just right down the hall. So here is Marie's bathroom, which you actually might recognize from Architectural Digest. I did this as a project for them, and it was like a 5-part social feature, which was super cool. And the reason that this project I think did so well was because this material on the walls is actually called concreta, and underneath this here is all tile. Like all the tile that they had in here before, which was not cute. It was like white subway tile. I went right over the top of it with plaster. Like, didn't have to do anything. The entire shower was all tile all the way up, went over it with plaster, did not have to tear it out, re-hot mop it all, like resurface it and then plaster it. Like, it's such a great step. It's such a great product, and it's by a brand called Moody. A lot of the wall finishes in my house are. And I also found a bunch of Facebook Marketplace finds for this room too, like this vanity, which I painted this color, which I think is Aurora Brown from Benjamin Moore. And then I found the shield crest mirror on Facebook as well. And this great light here, it's like a Murano sconce. I got it at a shop called Panoply in Los Angeles. And there actually used to be a door right here. I even forgot about that. I covered up the door because it wasn't necessary. It led to the laundry room, and we have a laundry hutch on the other side now, and then towel storage on this side. So it's just a little bit more better flowing, and I love the way that this room turned out. Really created an impact for how small it is. And now I'm going to take you into my bedroom. So now we are in my bedroom, which is probably the actual room I spend the most time in. I love, and this is also the most recent space I've done, but I love it. It's turned out so great. We did like this really cool striped ceiling detail and added these pinstripes to the ceiling in navy, and then I painted the ceiling this kind of gold chartreusey green color. So my bed is from Crate & Barrel and Jake Arnold. This is such a great bed. It's mohair and it has like this really cool shape to the back of it. And then I actually got this bed cover from Olive Atelier. A bunch of the furniture in here is from Olive Atelier, like the wicker chase and the stool over there. And I actually found these lights, these pendant lights on Facebook Marketplace for $30. The lady just threw them in a box and sent them here. Like, they arrived in a box this big, and there's like 2 pendant lights in the box, but you get what you pay for, you know? So they were $35, and my nightstands are from CB2, a little vintage table over here just for the time being. I don't know what I want to add over here yet, so I just added this furniture piece. And we can't forget about this amazing TV cabinet, which actually has a little key that you open it with. This actually used to be like a mint green color, and I painted it to look like old wood, so you just open it up and my TV's inside. And then I actually have all my like dresser storage, like for my clothes underneath there. And then all my camera stuff, look at this, sneak peek is in here. Needs to be organized though, so don't look too close. And that's the cabinet. And this is the TV cabinet. I love it though. It's really substantial and takes up a lot of space. This little crest here is from a flea market. I found it. And then working our way over here, our last room that I'm gonna share with you is my little office nook, which I think is so cute. I love the way that the space turned out. So through this little archway off of my bedroom, this actually used to be like the dressing room of the primary bedroom. So there was cabinetry all here. It was like floor to ceiling cabinets that you would open. And I pulled them out because I just never used them in the year I lived here. And I actually turned it into this little office nook, which I use all the time now. I can just like sit here and edit my videos. This is where I edit all my content. I love it in here. It has like a window and the bathroom's right there if you gotta go, you know? So, I mean, it's a great space. I love working in here, and I actually paneled the entire room in hardwood floors that I got on sale at Floor & Decor because I wanted like a wood paneled space, and stripped the original built-in here down to like the wood, and then created this little skirt which hides all of my camera equipment, which is under here at the moment. But I think this is really cute. It's such an easy way to add hidden storage and a little bit of texture and pattern without having to like create doors or like figure out how to add them to a space. The piece of art here I love because it just has like a masculine energy to it, which I think is really cool. And then but I love how he has a little picture with tea, Like, it's so cute. And then the blues coordinate with the blue in the bathroom behind me, which is currently a work in progress, so we're not gonna go in there yet. Home to me is all about a space that you could be 100% yourself in, feel 100% yourself, but also really feel inspired in as well. And kind of, it's a collection of your life. You know, you can add trinkets and little additions as you travel or grow up throughout your years. So I feel like it's just like you in a space. Well, Homeworthy, it's been great having you. I hope you enjoyed my home tour, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.